Stay fresh, kids and squids. Welcome back to Splatoon. We're doing the final levels of the game in this part. And yeah, they send stuff into space. Yeah, the last couple of research notes get really weird, and I mean like
Like
really weird.
okay, the designs for the squids on that frickin' thing are straight up Cthulhu. Um,
Yeah,
you know, the designers are obviously totally aware of how weird this stuff looks, and they're just milking it for comedy value. And that's the sort of humor that I can appreciate because I have a black sense of humor like that.
Went into the wrong level,
yep,
Ted.
It's like borderline WarioWare sort of surreal design.
yeah. WarioWare. That stuff's kind of fucked up.
It's the Miku squid version.
Yeah, I like the blue ink an awful lot. Like,
It's not like straight up blue. It's more of
Turquoise.
The teal.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I don't like
teal.
the standard dark blue ink very much actually.
I love this shade of blue. It's a beautiful color.
Yeah, my favorite colors tend to be the oranges for this game, I should say. This light blue. I actually like the pink quite a bit too. Yeah, I said it.
I call them by things I associate them with. Pink is always Pepto Bismol. This blue is toothpaste.
Toothpaste.
Yellow is macaroni and
Oh man,
cheese.
you know what? You should have worked for Crayola back in the day. You know, just be their official crayon namer.
I like the skin colored ink.
Skin,
Well, you know, as a kid, to be fair, as a kid, when you're drawing people, you need a crayon that's specifically marked skin color, because no way you're gonna figure out the exact mixture of different colors that you need to make a good skin tone by yourself.
yeah, but then you also get to the thing where, like, I think we've all seen this. I think they made a comic about this where it's like, you need the quote unquote skin colored, and then you're asking a
Yeah,
kid to pass
but
it to you.
you know, I am serious about that being a difficult color to peg down. The other day I was doing lessons in class for Photoshop, and the lesson was adding color to grayscale images, which Photoshop can do really easily. But for the picture I chose off the internet to do this with, it was a picture of a samurai in armor, right? I showed this on Twitter, so you might remember it. And the hardest thing was trying to mix colors to get a good color for the guy's goddamn face. It took me ages to figure out a good skin tone color, and he still wound up looking kind of orange, which is okay, because he's a Japanese dude, so that skin tone makes a little bit of sense, but it's still, if you, like, look at the exact color I use too long, it looks weird.
Pass him off as a Oompa Loompa samurai.
Nah, he looks like he's eaten a few too many carrots, you know?
Oompa Loompa Samurai. God, where the hell did Wonka find those guys? Like, you do realize that he's basically forced them into
No,
indentured servitude,
you're
right?
joking about that. You're joking about that, but in Final Fantasy XIV, you can be samurai class as the Lalafell, which are basically the midget elf people. So you can be an Oompa Loompa samurai. Just
Oh.
color his skin tone orange.
I seriously thought you were going to say Oompa Loompas were in Final Fantasy 14.
They might as well be if you color the Lalafells orange.
Doopity-doo. I've got another Moogle for you.
Kupo.
Oh. Everlasting gobstoppers, Kupo.
The Koopo nuts of that world.
I'm Kupo for Kupo nuts.
They're magically delicious. No, wait, I'm mixing up cereal.
Wrong cereal.
Wrong cereal, you prick!
Oh man.
They're owned by the same company, aren't they?
I don't
Man.
pay attention to who makes what.
Do you remember the good old days when everything, even cigarettes, had a mascot character?
Cigarettes had a
And
mascot
then-
character?
Yeah.
The camel guy.
The camel.
The camel
For,
guy. And
for the
then
camel
parents-
brand cigarettes.
Yeah, but then eventually parents called foul on it, saying that they were trying to advertise cigarettes to kids. And to be fair, they were. That was exactly what they were doing.
Well, in Japan, they
but,
have
you know.
mascots for everything, and that's just because everybody
in
likes
Towns,
Japan-
towns have mascots.
In Japan, when they have mascots, they're not catering to kids, they're catering to otaku. See, for example, the wonderful mascot women, waifu characters that Microsoft has for each of its operating systems.
Doesn't yeah? Internet Explorer has a waifu, doesn't it?
No, Microsoft has a different anime girl, a different obligatory sexy anime girl for every product they put out.
Okay.
It's like an American nerd going to Japan in like full anime gear, waving their arms around and saying, "Look, I know Japanese culture, I swear, but they're really just foreign anime nerds and people hate them."
Oh, a really cool Easter egg about this music notes here. This is actually this is the music for the final boss fight, which is
Oh,
yeah. I love that.
just from the number of musical notes on that sheet music, it does look suitably hectic.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily in the right key because there's like 8 sharps there and not 8. There's like 6 flats, and that's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Um, but it's the right
Well,
melody at the very least. So
you'd be surprised what someone who knows their music can do with weird looking
I know
music
it's just I
arrangements.
hated having like more than three keys, 3 flats in a key signature when I was in marching band because that meant like having to do anything weird was like hard, and I don't want to do that, man.
Well, that only matters when you're composing for live
Yeah,
performances.
true. If you're playing something on your own, like it doesn't matter what the fuck key you're playing it in.
No, once you've got the music recorded, it's
Yeah.
done. You don't have to
Yeah.
you don't have to touch the goddamn sheet music again. Uh,
I,
but
I can't really tell from the resolution that we're watching, but every time the agents 1 and 2 talk to you, are they wearing surgeon's masks?
They're wearing like gear, like one of them's wearing like something over their face. They're trying to hide their identity, dude.
Yeah, I know,
if
but
if
it's
they're
not a,
wearing a surgeon's mask, it might be trying to go for a delinquent look, kind of, because
cause it's like some
um,
sort of grin on one of the Agent 1's
You know
masks.
what? Actually, Mario Sunshine again. I think it reminds me of Bowser Jr.'s mask.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had a bandana with a drawn on mouth.
Yeah. And I do think Agent 2 has just a straight up surgeon's mask going for her though.
Yeah, that's or was not necessarily is, but it is a fairly popular thing for Japanese delinquents to wear, and
A
So
surgeon's
wait,
mask?
hold on. Practicing.
you can still buy a lot of surgeon masks with deliberately crazy designs on
So
them.
I don't get
Ah.
how radical and edgy it is to practice proper disease hygiene. Like,
Well, it covers your mouth and nose while you're painting up walls,
oh,
basically.
well, yeah, but most people
You
would
know?
just go for like a
But
ski mask
but
in the
yeah,
U.S.
if you're going, well, the other thing is that having a surgeon's mask in Japan is a pretty normal thing because when you have a cold, you're probably wearing one of those around town. In
Yeah.
fact, it's one of the more confusing things about anime and manga to people who are unversed with Japanese culture is that sometimes when a character has a cold, instead of staying home from school like we do in America, they just stick a surgeon's mask on the kid and send them off to
Well,
kindergarten.
that always kind of weirded me out about the first
It
case
happens
of.
a lot in Detective Conan.
Well, it was kind of weird it was always kind of weird to me in Phoenix Wright how when Phoenix has a cold he's just wearing a surgeon's mask for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty no nonsense thing to do. It's just that we in America are rude as hell fucks, and we never think to do that.
Yeah.
We just cough into your face because we're edgy and cool, and no one can force us to wear surgeons' masks. No one tells the land of the free how to
Surgeon's
what it's
mask?
supposed to
I'm
do
not a
next.
surgeon.
Eh,
You can't.
I just
make
play
me
one on
wear that
TV.
thing.
I'm not a surgeon fish. Eh, it's funny because it's a type of fish, and this is a game about sea creatures. Oh boy.
Yeah, one of you said earlier about wearing a surgeon's mask for painting, and that's to prevent, absorbing fumes, but that's something I just thought about now. This shit's gotta be dangerous for our lungs.
What? Oh, the ink? No, we create it, so it's okay.
They always say you practice good ventilation when you're painting a room, especially if it's in a very enclosed area.
Well, yeah. When it's still wet, it's a problem. So you gotta take care of it. Once it's dry, you're fine.
Well, let's.
You're
Well,
good.
the ink is actually like created by the inklings themselves. So, like, unless if your own ink is well, um,
Wait, are we talking about in the context of Splatoon or in the context of the real world? I'm lost.
I'm talking about in the context of the color stuff you're laying on the floor right now, good sir.
oh no, this stuff is totally non-harmful. Not only do we create it, it just magically disappears as soon as the turf war is over.
We're shitting
Well,
on everything.
Yeah, we're playing as squids, so it's their bodily inks. Why they're above water rather than
Oh no,
underwater, I'm not
there's
sure.
actually a line early in the game where he says, "You know, we sea creatures can't survive underwater."
Oh man.
Yeah, so slip through defenses. Oh yeah,
Is
for
your
some
color on
reason
the
this one
is your
just gets very. Wait a minute, that's the Splatfest machine. Holy shit, that
It's a
that's
telephone.
the Splatfest.
It's a fax
Yeah,
machine.
that's the Splat. That's what the Splatfest thing comes out of. I only just noticed that. No wonder that one got all philosophical and metaphorical and shit. Because when a Splatfest is being announced, that's creepy as fuck. um, me, John, and Ryan were playing Splatoon online the day where they officially announced the Splatfest in the game itself, and we were all really weirded out when the game updated its stage roster, only for like suddenly like a seance to happen in the middle of it, and like it's freaky is basically just what I'm gonna
The
say.
great fax machine has spoken.
Like, man, this game's fucked up.
All glory to the fax machine.
I have a question. Does your color change randomly in the world map?
Yes.
Well, basically how it works for single player. Each stage has a set color, unless if you've got color lock mode on, which keeps the color the same, and that's basically for colorblind people. But this stage will always have the bright green ink. The one stage with the invisible platforms will always be light blue. The Octolings ink is always purple for some reason. But when you're playing online, it's just random. So like you could be pink one match, blue another match. I was like the gross green color like a good 3 times in a row, and that was annoying.
You survived only to
Yeah.
die.
It looked
It's
like
like
it clipped through the
I was so
floor.
sure you'd get one hit killed by the ink shower,
I had
but
a
you survived and then fell to your death immediately
I had
afterward.
armor on,
He
so
had
that's
armor.
what saved me there. But I just
It's not much use if you fall to your death immediately
nope.
afterwards. All
So
right.
now I have to go back
Well,
and get it. Yeah, this game again. The only real collectible is the sunken scrolls, which once you know where they are, they don't add too much playtime to your run to get them. It's just a matter of finding them the first time, which can be kind of obnoxious. The first time you're going for it.
Can you unlock this armor in multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you if you beat the game, you get the if you beat the game, you get the
The
hero
hero thing.
gear, so you can wear it online, and you also get the Octoling gear, so you can look as an Octoling online. Well, not like the hair, but like their goggles and stuff. And if you get the amiibo, you can get a replica of the hero weapons to use online as well. Um, but they just have the same stats as the standard splatter shot, charger, and roller. Um, the gear isn't anything too special. It's 2-star weapons, so it's not. So you'd have to upgrade it to get max stats. But it looks cool enough, I guess. You can't ever get like the bicycle helmet and fishing poles, though. I don't think, if that's what you were wondering. But you can get like the little things sticking out of your heads, though. Whatever the hell those are supposed to be.
do you get
Earmuffs?
hurt by standing in the wrong color?
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Which is why you don't want to. One thing.
It takes a long time. It takes a while to kill you, so you have plenty of time to get out from it.
I actually,
Yeah.
so if you're ever like jumping into enemy territory, I recommend jumping, aiming down with the gyro, and then shooting so that you can land in your own color. All you have to do is shoot at your feet, and then you'll be fine. It's not like you take too much damage from it. And if you're in a situation where where you're standing in the other team's ink while you're getting shot at, it's probably their shots that are going to kill you before the ink will. You'd have to be
Yeah.
standing in it for like a good probably 10 seconds for that to be the only thing to kill you. Although I haven't timed it, so don't quote me on that. It takes a while is more the point I was trying to make. Oh, and fuck these...
There is nothing worse though. Just getting caught inside your opponent's ink because you move on molasses.
Well, I haven't really encountered it too much because, like, if I'm ever in a point where I'm standing in the ink, I'm just shooting at the ground and then I'm fine.
yeah.
You have to basically let it kill you, is essentially it.
That's what it feels like sometimes anyway.
Yeah. Also, you can fall here, but you just have to backtrack. It's not too big of a deal. Um, but yeah, tube socks.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty simple section to get
Yeah,
through.
this is, to be honest, the flutters aren't my favorite mechanic, mostly just because they're pretty slow and they don't emphasize the fast nature. My favorite parts of this game are the fast-paced parts, where you're going really quick and you're taking advantage of how fluid the control can be, as opposed to these where the flutters require a lot of waiting. Also, that's how you get those balloons up there, so good for that.
Good to know.
Also, I love the way the zapfish kind of like squirm about while you're holding them. One thing that's actually kind of interesting is if you go back to replay a level, you aren't actually rescuing a zapfish. It's just kind of like a little, like...
It's a dummy.
Yeah. Also, this fucking cat, the Judd, who judges the turf war matches, he's like implied to be like 10,000 years old in these scrolls. So it's just like, what the fuck's up with him anyway? All right, so the way the game, I know it's kind of weird talking about the way the game's structured, like the second to last part, but each world after the first world, which is basically just tutorial world, the last two levels are always an Octoling level and a UFO level. The Octoling levels I liked because, you know, they're fast-paced and they're fun, and the UFO levels, not so much because they involve a lot of waiting for ink strikes to happen, so...
It kind of feels like these Octoling levels are kind of like a warm-up for what you'll be doing in multiplayer.
That's exactly what they are, essentially.
Yeah,
because
you've got a single AI opponent trying to take you down along the way.
yeah, they sometimes you can get double teamed. It doesn't happen too much. They also around this point they start introducing like Octolings that have kelp on their heads, and that means they're stronger. But I never really noticed that. I think maybe their AI is a little bit better. Maybe I never really noticed it though. So these are also the levels that I have some of the hardest time trying to find the scrolls because they're usually
Well, they're the most wide open.
yeah, and they're hidden kind of weird too because
Well, they're usually just somewhere off the beaten path because you have the eggs that are supposed to lead you to the destination. They're just basically off the path.
yeah, like that right there, the scroll right there was on the other spawn point. We started on the right spawn point, and that one was on the left. You normally, if you're playing this stage, Salt Spray Rig, in multiplayer, you can't even get to the other team's spawn point, so... they do slightly change the geometry for single player.
I imagine the other aspect that makes it a little difficult to explore is that the enemies are a bit less obviously patterned and more specific, more specific in how they attack you.
Yeah, but they don't respawn, which is the good thing. So after you kill an enemy, they generally won't pop up until you go into a new area. So you can go back and backtrack without fear of getting hurt.
So you have to defeat that particular enemy before you can explore a certain area.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to, but you'll probably get harassed the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not like the other enemies. The other enemies in the game sort of function more like platformer enemies.
Yeah.
In that they'll generally stay in one place and their attacks are fairly predictable for what they are. So.
Yeah,
and if they do move, they move along a set pattern, and it's all very easy to work your way around while you're exploring.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they're not saying that the other enemies aren't annoying, because they are.
A 12,000-year-old fossil of a creature with an odd internal skeleton. Its small skull indicates the creature was... Hang on.
It had primitive little intelligence.
Likely primitive with little intelligence. Blah, blah, blah.
It's been fossilized in some sort of ritual. Yeah. Nintendo thinks gamers are dumb.
Again, you'll buy it anyway.
Gamers are dead.
Well, it's not like gamers haven't been giving them plenty of corroboration for that theory lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just say that in such an ashamed voice.
I could go in. I could explain why, but I'm not going to.
Little Jimmy, I am so not proud of you right now.
No, not Jimmy. James. We're disappointed, so we use their full name.
My name is Tim. Shut up, James.
James Oswald Spencer.
James,
I
you
am
happy little
so
accident.
not proud of you right now.
Oh, you got middle name on everyone.
Oh man. I feel bad if anybody's name is like the chances of somebody actually being named James Oswald Spencer is probably like 1 in 10,000.
If they were named Oswald Spencer, they'd be like one syllable away from being the founder of Umbrella. So
Oh, wait, what was Umbrella's
his
founder?
actual name is Oswell Spencer.
Oh, wow. Wait, I thought that Alfred Ashcock was the founder of the Ashcock.
Alfred Ash, the Ashford family was one of the founding families. Oswell Spencer being the big one.
Oh, okay.
And Spencer betrayed the Ashford family at one point, and it's all very convoluted and silly. Eventually, there was this. No, wait, no, I'm getting it all mixed up. No, the Ashfords weren't the ones that were betrayed. That was who was the goddamn guy in Resident Evil Zero who somehow became a leech monster? Fuck, I don't even know. Resident Evil's plot is stupid.
What else is new?
No, the Ashfords. No, the Ashfords were one of the higher-ranking families in the Umbrella Corporation, and their entire plot significance in Resident Evil Code Veronica was that there were these twins. There was an incestuous relationship between them. They really liked ants for some reason, and
The dragonflies. I'll say dragonflies.
one of them was put to sleep in a test tube to incubate a virus, and the other got so lonely in the absence of his sister that he started cross-dressing and developed a split personality between himself and his imaginary sister.
It didn't start just cross-dressing. He got his sister's voice down pat.
Yeah, it's really,
there's a sequence where it looks like he's talking with his sister, and then spoiler warning, you find out that he's talking to himself, but he can mimic Alexia's voice perfectly. It's kind of creepy.
So is that scarier than most of the zombies in Resident Evil?
It's the scariest thing in the game. Yeah.
Intentionally or unintentionally?
Because unintentionally.
Well, Code Veronica has some really narmy voice acting at times. Like, Claire is okay. Steve Burnside is frickin' terrible. Wesker is a bit and Alex Ashford is. Oh my god.
It's very
He has a really high pitched voice.
I do not want to be here.